All right, so shalom, shalom. First and foremost, let's start off by saying Brakatham, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. And I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And shout out to the hopefully let, starting with the 145,000, shalom. All right, so Lord willing, right, I want to go into this lesson. It's titled Daughter of Babylon, Mother of Harlots. Right now, I was watching the lesson, finishing the lesson up. The brother breaking down Revelation chapter 2, going into the churches, right? He was going into history about, when I got right here on my other phone, I read a little bit of it. I got some search those things as well, right? But when Cyrus them took over the Babylonians, right? Those high priests, which is practicing, matter of fact, we read that. Let's go here, right? I said, was ancient Babylon known for idol worship and witchcraft? He says yes, and this goes back to what the ancient Egypt and Canaan, right? Land of Canaan, the Canaanites, right? They was doing that idol worship thing. So that's why we went into that land, right? That idol worship, that witchcraft, things of that such. They had that going on in the land, right? When you go to the book of Deuteronomy, right? Chapter, what is that? That 19? Let me see. Let me see how I can find it. Yeah, girl. Deuteronomy 18, Shlaki. Right? Deuteronomy 18, right? And right, verse 9, start at verse 9. It says, when thou art to come into the land which the Lord thy power giveth thee, gonna give us the land of Canaan, right? Going back to Deuteronomy 7. We're supposed to destroy them, right? Because this is all the thing they had going on, right? It says, thou shalt not learn to do after the abomination of those nations, right? It says, there shall not be found any among you. It's like, there shall be found among you anyone that maketh his sons or his daughters to pass through the fire, or that uses divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer, right? It says, for all that they do, these things are an abomination to the Lord Yahweh, and because of these abominations, Lord Yahweh, thy power doeth drive them out of the land before thee. Right, so they had these things going on. Right now, reading right here in the NLT, right? It says, for example, never sacrifice your sons' daughters as a burnt offering, and do not let your people practice fortune telling, right, or sorcery, right, or interpret omens, or engage in witchcraft, or cast spells, or function as mediums, or psychics, right, or call forth spirits of the dead, right? Because you go back to Egypt, when you go to Exodus, right? You go to the book of Exodus, right? Let me see. I know how I can find it. Bear with me on all this thing. Let me see. Right? Exodus 7 and 9. Right? It says, when Pharaoh shall speak unto you, saying, show a miracle for you, then shalt thou say to Aaron, take thy rod and cast it before Pharaoh, and it shall become a serpent. And Moses and Aaron went into Pharaoh, and they did so as the Lord Yahweh had commanded. And Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh, and before his servants it became a serpent. Then Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers. Now the magicians of Egypt, they also did in like manner with their enchantments. Right? So this was going, when you go at the land of Canaan, and the Canaanites and Egyptians, they had these things going on, and Babylon took on these things, right? Babylon was known for that, that witchcraft, that idolatry, right? Idolatry, right? The idol worship, right? And then what I want to get into, right? I want to daughter of Babylon, mother of harlots, right? I want to get into how the Romans, right? So as I was mentioning, right? When you understand it. So when the Babylonians got took down by the Medo Persians, those high priests, right, they fled, right? They fled to Pergamum, right? And when they fled there, right, when the Romans took over, Jews took over, they seen those things they was doing, right? And they took a part of it, right? Let's see. So I asked chat, I said, when they was taken down by Medo-Persian Empire, the priests fled to Pergamum. They said that the idea, the Babylonian priests fled to Pergamum, right, also spelled Pergamus, after the fall of the Babylonian Empire, is a popular theological, but is not supported by mainstream history or archaeological evidence, because we understand, right, the Romans took part in this, right? The Rome took part in this, right? You know, understand they took on these practices, right? What we in today? We in the rise from empire, right? Which is Babylon, America, right? Spiritual Sodom and Egypt, right? Because this the daughter of Babylon, the mother of harlots. That's what's going on in America today, right? This witchcraft, you know, necromancy, you know, all these wicked things that's going on here today. And now they got the power to give life into the beast, man. You know, right? Give life to these idols can speak, right? Chat GPT, all these type of things, right? It says, let me see. Okay, that's what I asked. I said, the Romans did pick up on these practices as well, didn't they? They said, yes, the Romans absolutely adopted many of the practices, but they did so through the Greek culture. Yeah, right? It says the Romans were famous for being cultural sponges. As they conquered the Mediterranean, they absorbed religions, astrological and magical practices of the land they took over, including Mesopotamia, right? Magic and curses and witchcraft. Just like the Babylonians, the Romans had a massive undercurrent of folk magic and witchcraft that existed alongside official state religion, right? That's what you had going on, right? You know, and this is what you have going on in America today, right? Let's go to the book of Isaiah, right? 47. This is what you have going on in America today, right? This is why this is the mother of harlots, man. Right? Daughter of Babylon, the mother of harlots, right? This is what goes on in America. That's why the Most High is going to destroy this place. You have Jake caught up in that E5 stuff, that necromancy, dealing with the dead and all these type of things. This is what been going on, right? You know, and the Most High told him not to take part. That's why he told him when he comes to the land, destroy them, right? And you see Jake still mingling with them. It ain't the fact that they still around us. Most High get mad at us. We destroy the fact that Jake was mingling with them. That's why he said, we wouldn't give us laws community. He said, this is your knowledge and wisdom inside the nations. We're supposed to judge the nations. We're supposed to be over them. We're not supposed to be doing what they're doing. But Jake fell into these things, right? I'm going to read Isaiah 47:1, right? And we'll jump down. It says, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. We're talking about what? America, right? Oh, sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldees, but thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate, right? So when you jump down, right, we'll start at verse 6 and read on down. It says, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them to thy hand, right? Because we was over here in captivity in Babylon, right? Most High brought punishment upon us for us going off. We were led over here into captivity, right? It says, thou didst show them no mercy upon the ancients, how thou that very yoke, because right? You know, they've been oppressing us, killing. They showed us no mercy, right? It said, and thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither dost thou remember the latter end of it. And you see it in the NLT, it says, you said I will reign forever as the queen of the world. This was Esau mindset. Right? You go to Revelations 18, right? I will say the queen, I shall see no sorrow. This is their mindset. This is what they thinking, right? With their necromancy, their witchcraft, their sorcery, right? You know, their enchantments. Most High is going to bring all these things down. That's why America, Babylon, right? You know, Babylon, spiritual Sodom and Egypt was America, right? The mother of harlots, right? The daughter of Babylon, the mother of harlots, is going to be brought down and destroyed. And this is what's going on here today, right? They have these enchantments, these witchcraft, and all this left-hand sorcery, right? Because you got to know, you know, this is how his right-hand spirit is left-hand sorcery. And this is what they take practice in, right? And you said, I will reign forever as the queen of the world. You did not reflect on your actions or think about your consequences, right? So here it is, verse 8. Right? Because remember, talking to the daughter of Babylon. What's the daughter of Babylon? America. Right? It says, therefore, hear now this. Thou art given to pleasures. Thou dwellest carelessly. Thou sayest in thy heart, I am and none else beside me. I shall sit as a widow, neither shall I know lost children. Right? But these two things shall come to thee in a moment. One day, the loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in the perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thy enchantments. Right? Let's read verse 9. It says, well, both these things will come upon you in a moment. Widowhood and the loss of your children, right? It says, yes, these calamities will come upon you despite all your witchcraft and magic, right? You felt secure in wickedness, right? You know, and they think that's because they dealing with their left-hand side, their left-hand spirit, right? You know, this is what Babylon, this is what America has going on the left-hand side, right? Those elite sacrificing babies, you know, all these type of things, dealing with them left-hand spirits, right? You know, that Illuminati, right? All these type of things, right? You know, these type of things that was going on in Babylon, right? It's a daughter of Babylon, right? Spiritual Sodom in Egypt, man. Right, but the mother of harlot, this was going on in America today. When you go into it even deeper, the mother of harlot, you got Jake out here into certain things, E5, necromancy, voodoo, all. You got Jake out here lost, and this is the mother of harlots, right? You know, and this was going on here, and the Most High is going to destroy this place for that. Let's go to Revelation 17, right? And when we read, that's why the Most High told us when we go to the land destroy them not do these things. This is what they had going on. Even though here today, this is what they have going on, right? You know, even Rome picked it up. That's why, matter of fact, Revelation 13, I was talking to the brother about this, right? When you see how it line up, you see how it all play hand in hand, right? What did it say, right? We just read how Rome was doing the same thing, witchcraft and sorcery, and we understand that what? This is the revised Roman Empire. Right? With the how shall I not tell them in Second Esdras 11, right? Around 32, we get straight to the point, right? Right? It says that this eagle is referring to the Roman Empire, right? It says 2 Esdras 11:37, and I beheld and lo, as it were a roaring lion chased out of the wood, I see how it shot, and I saw he sent out a man's voice into the eagle, the Roman Empire, and said, hear thou, I will talk with thee, and the highest shall say unto thee, art not thou it remainest of the four beasts, whom I made reign in my world, that any of their times might come through them? Right? So the Roman Empire is still in rule. America is that revised Roman Empire, right? Because when we go back to Revelation 13, right? You know, the Roman Empire was that beast that had a daily wound, but it was healed. Revelation 13 and see 3. It's like it. He says, and I saw one of his heads, they were wounded to death, the ancient Roman Empire. His daily wound was healed through the Renaissance, right? You know, through the Renaissance, right? NATO, EU, right? This beast system, right? And all the world wanted after the beast, right? NATO, EU, this beast system, right? So even when you go into that little horn that came up out of the Roman Empire, America, right? What is that? What is this place? What is this? Renaissance, NATO, EU, America, right? You know? So let's go to it right here, Revelation 13, right? He says, which is what? Daughter of Babylon, the mother of harlots, man. Right? Revelation 13 and 11. It says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, right? We're talking about America. It had two horns, Democrat Republic Party, like a lamb. That's his soft manner way he speak. He spake as a dragon, he draconian law, draconian ways. But here's the point. He exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast who the one was healed. And that's what goes on here. That sorcery, that witchcraft, those enchantments, right? And it's not going to work, right? It's not going to work, right? And Esau think this is going to work, right? Esau think this is what's going to help them or bring forth. That's why they want to push this new world order. Want to make everybody digital slave. Want to make everybody one under them. You know, they want to push. They want to control the people, right? With these sorceries, this witchcraft, right? You know, and this is what goes on here. They got it. Majority of our people are already caught up in it. 2/3 of our people are already caught up in it, right? Let's see. Let's go to Revelation 17, right? And right here, we start at verse 1, right? It says, and there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Talking about America, Babylon, right? With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication, man. Right? It's what it is. Right? He's talking about America. They got the whole world drunken. Right? I want to jump down, right, to verse 5. It says, upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the great Babylon the Great, which is mean confusion, right? You know, this is talking about America, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. That's what goes on here, man. It's the mother of harlots, this witchcraft, this sorcery, right? You know, and Esau just took those things. And went farther with them, right? Esau took those things and went farther with them. If we go into like things like you have, you know, homo men, you know, women things such going on and you know, Babylon, right? But now Esau done made it so, Esau got it so different. Esau done took it so far to the extent now a whole man can go get surgery and become a woman, or can't become a woman, but put woman parts on his body, right? You know, this place is this witchcraft, this you know, and his through his knowledge of wisdom, he has created more evil. He has went up to the extent with it, man, right? To the extent with it, right? That's why he's gonna be brought down. Right, this is that daughter of Babylon, the mother of harlots, man. That's what goes on in this place, right? You know, when you go back into it, right? All the those worshiping those sex goddess, right? Things that said those they used to all those orgies and all those type of things. Don't you see that going on here today? Or you see all that going on here today? Because why? It's the daughter of Babylon, the mother of harlots, man. Right? You know, all that weird extra they have going on, man. It's been going on, right? You know, and you see why the Most High referred to it as Babylon, daughter of Babylon, man. That's that same thing was going on. When you go to Revelation 2, right, we hit me in the spirit. Another thing, right, how you shout when he was talking to the churches, right? He's basically telling them, like, look, you know, if you stand firm and stay strong, he said you'll receive a white stone with your name written in it. When you go into the Roman Empire, when you went into trial, right, they would give you, if you beat the trial, they would give you a white stone, meaning you won, right? You know, the Most High was just using a reference. So most High was using a reference to them, something they know about. Using a reference to them, like, hey, if you overcome this thing, everything that's going on over there in the churches, you know, the wickedness that's going on around you, you overcome and stay focused in the spirit and the faith, right? You'll see that white stone, you're gonna beat the trial. Because now it's the time of our trial, right? You know? So let's see. That's really all I have for. I'll go to Revelation chapter 2. That's really all I have for. I want to touch on that in the spirit, the Lord willing, real quick. Because this is a daughter of Babylon, the mother of harlot. That's what goes on in this place. These enchantments, that witchcraft, right? Let's see. Right? When you go into Pergamos, man, Pergamos, man, you know, it had a lot of things going on, right? It had a lot of wickedness going on, right? Even when you go into the church of what is that? I can't say it right. Thyatira, right? You know, they had the woman. They had women in high places, right? You know, had all those, seducing the men. What it says in here, right? Right, verse 20, it says, notwithstanding, I have a few things against thee, because thou sufferest that the woman Jezebel, which calls herself a prophet, to teach and seduce my servants to commit fornication and eat things sacrificed. This was going on, man. Right? You know, this you got to see, right? You know, and when you go into the history of things, when you go into the history and see how things lie today, man, it play out clear as day. Right? It play out clear as day, and you understand why America was the daughter of Babylon, the mother of harlot, Babylon the Great, man. Right? This is America. All that witchcraft and that Sodom and that left hand wicked shit goes on right there. Esau just took it to another extent. Now Esau has the technology and all these type of things to take it to the farthest he can take it, man. You know? And that's why he's going to be brought down. He's going to be destroyed, man. Right? You know? So Lord willing, right? Holy lesson was quick, edifying, exalting, right? I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles or elders of Great Millstone, and shout out to the hopefully let. So they went to 144,000. Shalom.